Jamie Melham makes history. The second female jockey to conquer the Melbourne Cup on Half Yours. Melbourne, Australia. Under a clear November sky and the thunderous applause of over 100,000 racing fans at Flemington Racecourse, Jamie Melham etched her name into sporting history. Riding the magnificent bay stallion Half Yours, Melham became only the second female jockey ever to win the Melbourne Cup, Australia's most prestigious and celebrated horse race. It was a race filled with emotion, resilience, and a reminder that dreams, no matter how improbable, can come true with unyielding determination. A moment decades in the making. When Melham crossed the finish line first, silencing the field of 23 other competitors, the roar that followed wasn't just for the horse or the stable. It was for every young girl who ever dreamed of making it in a male-dominated sport. The Melbourne Cup, often called the race that stops a nation, has been a battleground for world-class jockeys for more than 160 years. Yet, women have long fought for recognition in the saddle. The first female winner, Michelle Payne, broke that barrier in 2015 aboard Prince of Penzance. Her victory inspired a generation. 10 years later, Jamie Melham has taken that legacy even further, not only repeating history but reinventing it. "This moment isn't just mine," Melham said in her post-race interview, voice shaking with emotion. "It belongs to every woman who's been told she couldn't. I grew up watching Michelle Payne and thinking maybe one day, just maybe, I could do it too." The race, from calm to chaos to glory. The 3,200-meter Melbourne Cup is never short on drama, and this year was no exception. Half Yours, trained by Patrick Langford, started at 18-1 odds, a solid outsider compared to favorites like Desert Dreamer and Gallant Strike. As the starting gates flew open, the thundering herd charged forward. Half Yours settled near the middle of the pack, with Melham displaying her trademark patience and poise. The early pace was fierce, set by Desert Dreamer, who led the charge around the first turn. For the first mile, Melham kept her mount steady, conserving Half Yours' energy. As the horses entered the final straight, Half Yours began to surge. The crowd at Flemington rose to their feet as Melham made her move, slipping through a narrow gap on the inside rail with the precision of a veteran. With 200 meters to go, Gallant Strike tried to hold his lead, but Melham's partner responded with incredible power and heart. The two horses battled neck and neck until the final strides when Half Yours stretched forward, winning by a head in one of the most thrilling finishes in recent Cup memory. "I could feel him wanting it," Melham recalled. "He gave me everything in that final stretch. It was like he knew what was at stake." The horse called Half Yours. Few horses in the field had a backstory as unlikely as Half Yours. Bred on a small farm outside Ballarat, Victoria, he was never expected to be a Melbourne Cup contender. Purchased as a yearling for a modest sum, Half Yours had a steady but unspectacular start to his career. But Langford, the veteran trainer behind the horse's transformation, saw something special. "He's got the biggest heart I've ever seen," Langford said, grinning through tears after the win. "He's not the flashiest or the fastest on paper, but when it comes to grit, he's unmatched." Jamie understood that from day one. Langford's faith in both horse and rider paid off spectacularly. The pair began working together nearly 2 years ago, forming a bond that would prove decisive. "From the first time she rode him, they just clicked," Langford added. "They trusted each other completely. That's rare." A trailblazer's journey. For Melham, the road to this moment was anything but smooth. Born in Geelong, Victoria, she grew up around horses but faced skepticism early in her career. Many racing insiders doubted that she could handle the physical demands and mental intensity of professional racing. She worked tirelessly through the ranks, from local provincial tracks to mid-tier city meetings. There were injuries, setbacks, and countless early mornings spent mucking out stables before dawn. "I remember people saying, 'You'll never make it to Flemington,'" Melham said, laughing softly. "That just made me work harder. Her breakthrough came in 2023, when she claimed a string of Group 1 victories that established her as one of the rising stars of Australian racing. Yet the Melbourne Cup, the one race that defines careers, remained elusive. Until now. A victory beyond sport. The significance of Melham's triumph extended far beyond the racetrack. Across Australia, the victory was hailed as a defining moment for gender equality in sport. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese congratulated her in a message posted to social media. Greater than, Jamie Melham's win today shows what courage, talent, and persistence can achieve. She has inspired a generation, and given the nation a moment to remember. Racing Victoria CEO Andrew Jones called it a landmark win that will be remembered for decades. He added, "It's not just about who crossed the line first. It's about the barriers that continue to fall every time someone like Jamie rides to glory." Emotion at the finish line. As Melham dismounted in the winner's enclosure, she was greeted with thunderous applause. Half Yours stood proudly beside her, his coat glistening with sweat, the sunlight catching the gold of the Melbourne Cup trophy that now bore the names. Tears streamed down Melham's face as she hugged her parents, who had flown in from Geelong to watch the daughter's historic run. "I wish my grandmother could see this," she said. "She was the one who taught me how to ride. I know she's watching from somewhere." The jockey's humility and gratitude struck a chord with fans across the country. For many, her victory symbolized not just success, but the power of perseverance, humility, and belief. Inside the training camp. Behind the glory was an intense, meticulously planned training regime. Langford and Melham worked tirelessly with Half Yours in the months leading up to the Cup, focusing on stamina, speed, and synchronization. Langford revealed that Melham often arrived before dawn for track work, studying every stride of her horse. "She's obsessed with details," he said. "She watches replay after replay, analyzing where she can shave off half a second or improve her timing." Their preparation included simulated long-distance gallops, adjusting Half Yours' nutrition, and managing recovery cycles to keep him fresh. "It wasn't just training the horse," Langford said. "It was about preparing a team, and Jamie was the heart of that team." The global reaction. News of Melham's victory spread quickly around the world. Media outlets from Britain, Japan, and the United States celebrated the race as a moment of progress for women in sport. The BBC called it a triumph of courage and talent, while the New York Times described it as the next great chapter in Australian racing history. Michelle Payne, the first female Melbourne Cup winner, sent a heartfelt congratulatory message on social media. "Greater than, so proud of you, Jamie. You've carried the torch beautifully. What an incredible ride. For all of us." Melham responded humbly, writing, "You paved the way, Michelle. I just followed your hoofprints." The public's reaction. A nation united. Across Australia, the celebration was electric. At pubs, offices, and schools, people erupted in cheers as Melham crossed the finish line. Social media exploded with hashtags like #JamieMelham, #HalfYours, and #Hercup2 trending nationwide. Parents shared photos of the daughters watching the race, inspired by what they had witnessed. "My little girl just said, 'I want to be Jamie Melham when I grow up,'" one fan wrote on X, formerly Twitter. For a country that treats the Melbourne Cup as more than just a sporting event, a cultural moment that brings millions together, Melham's victory carried special emotional weight. A historic comparison. The Melbourne Cup has always been a stage for legends. From Phar Lap's dominance in the 1930s to Makybe Diva's 3 consecutive wins in the 2000s. Each generation has its heroes. Now, Jamie Melham joins that elite pantheon, her name forever etched alongside the greats. But what sets her apart is the context of her achievement. While Michelle Payne's 2015 win was groundbreaking, Melham's victory in 2025 represents the normalization of female excellence in a field that once resisted it. Sports historian Drive. Rachel Porter from the University of Sydney noted, "The fact that Melham's win was celebrated universally, without controversy or doubt, shows how far the industry has come. She's not a novelty. She's a champion. The aftermath. What comes next?" Following the Cup, Melham and Langford announced that Half Yours will rest for several weeks before preparing for international races, possibly including the Dubai World Cup or Royal Ascot next season. When asked about her next goal, Melham smiled. "For now, I just want to enjoy this moment. But yes, I'd love to test ourselves on the world stage. Half Yours deserves to show what he can do beyond Australia." Sponsors have already begun lining up, with major brands expressing interest in ambassadorial deals for both Melham and her horse. However, true to her humble nature, Melham insists that her focus will remain on racing, not fame. A legacy taking shape. Beyond trophies and accolades, Melham's win could reshape the landscape for women in racing. Racing schools across the country reported a surge of interest from young female riders in the hours following the race. "Representation matters," said Sophie Dwyer, a 17-year-old apprentice jockey from New South Wales. "Seeing Jamie win makes me believe I can too." Racing Victoria has also pledged to increase support for female jockeys through mentorship programs and expanded opportunities at elite levels. "Jamie's win is proof that talent knows no gender," said CEO Andrew Jones. The human element. Despite the attention, Melham remains grounded. After the celebrations, she was spotted in the stables, quietly feeding Half Yours an apple. "He's the real star," she laughed. "I just held on." Langford shared that even after the press conferences and interviews, Melham insisted on checking the horse's legs, brushing him down, and thanking every stablehand. "That's Jamie," he said. "Never forgets where she came from. Her humility has made her a national favorite." Sports shows replayed her emotional interview for days, and fan mail flooded her social media. "I can't believe how much love there's been," she said. "I just hope I've made people proud." Expert analysis. The perfect ride. Racing analysts were unanimous in their praise. Commentator Bruce McAvaney described Melham's performance as flawless, highlighting her ability to stay calm under pressure. "She rode with incredible composure," McAvaney said. "Her timing, her choice to stay on the rail, her patience, it was masterclass riding. That's the difference between good and great." Veteran jockey Damien Oliver, himself a three-time Melbourne Cup winner, called the ride textbook perfect. He added, "She rode that horse like she'd been there 100 times before." The emotional weight of history. For Melham, the enormity of her achievement will take time to sink in. "When I was a kid, I used to sit on a fence and watch the Cup on TV, imagining what it would feel like," she said. "Today, I got to live that dream." She hopes her victory will inspire not only young women but anyone who has ever faced doubt. "You don't have to be the strongest or the biggest," she said. "You just have to believe, and never stop working." The legacy of Half Yours. In the weeks following the race, Half Yours has become a fan favorite. Children visit the stable to see him, bringing carrots and handmade banners. Langford says the horse has taken it all in stride. "He loves the attention," he laughed. "He knows he's a champion now." Plans are already underway for a public celebration in Melbourne, where both Melham and Half Yours will parade through the city streets, a fitting tribute to their shared triumph. Conclusion. A new dawn for Australian racing. Jamie Melham's victory on Half Yours is more than a headline. It's a milestone in Australian sport. It represents courage, equality, and the unbreakable bond between a rider and her horse. From the quiet paddocks of Geelong to the grandstands of Flemington, Melham's story reminds the world that greatness comes not from privilege, but from perseverance. As she held the golden Melbourne Cup aloft, surrounded by cheers and tears, one could sense a deeper meaning in her smile, not just victory, but vindication. "Dreams," she said simply, "are worth chasing. even if it takes a lifetime.